Hi, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. In today's video tutorial, I am doing a Christmas quilt where I'm going to show you how easy it is to take any block in Easy Draw and convert it into a ball. And then we're just going to add a little ornament hanger at the top. Okay, I'm going to open an existing project. And I'm going to go to my Candy Cane Christmas project, which is where I'm storing all the projects I'm working on for Christmas this year. And I'm going to select OK. And for this one, I am going to start with a pieced block from the library. So I'm going to go ahead and close the project sketchbook, do a search for block patterns. And since I found this once before, I'm just going to search by note card, and I'm going to search for Richmond. And I'm going to take this block and add it to my sketchbook. Now, this is from Blockbase, so if you don't have Blockbase, you're not going to be able to access this one. However, you could use any of the mosaic blocks from the EQ library as well. And so once I select it, I'm going to add it to my sketchbook and I'm going to close. So now I'm going to view my project sketchbook. I'm going to go to the Blocks tab. I'm going to take the last one and I'm going to select Edit. So what I am going to do is use my Arc tool, and I'm going to make sure I have Snap to Grid on. And other than needing to, match these corners, there really isn't anything else I need to worry about. So I'm going to draw 4 arcs. Now, if your arc is going the wrong direction, use the space key on your keyboard and just move it the other direction. So I'm just going to, pretty much just create a circle. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to use my pick tool, and I can see that in these corners, I really don't want just that little sliver. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete those line for the half square triangles. Now, I am also going to want to delete some of the bisections here, but the easiest way to do that, I'm going to go to the Color tab, and then I'm going to go back to the Draw tab. And now I'm going to use my zoom in, and I've got the pick tool still selected, so I can select each of these and select my delete key. And once I've got that done, I'm going to go to the Color tab. I'm going to go back to my full screen view, and I'm going to use some of my Christmas fabrics to color this. Now, when I am in the Work on block, I can't use the rotate feature. So I'm just going to save that for when I work on my quilt. So once I have that done, I'm going to add it to my sketchbook, and I'm going to create one other block. And so I'm going to do a new block, pieced, Easy Draw, and I am going to change this to be 1 inch tall. Actually, the other way around, 9 inches wide and 1 inch tall. And I'm going to set my graph paper cells to 9 and 1. Actually, it has to be 2, and I'm going to change my snaps to 9 by 4, and I'm just going to use my line tool and draw just the top of my ornament here, and I'm just going to do that as a different block. So now I'm going to go to my Color tab, and I'm going to color this, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to my project sketchbook. And I'm going to create a new quilt. I'm going to use the horizontal layout, and I'm going to go to the Layout tabs and change it to 1 by 1. Size of blocks 9 inches, and everything else is going to be borders. So the first thing I need is just a border for that top of the ornament. So I'm going to turn the lock size adjustments off, and also the top and bottom and right and left. And I'm going to move everything to 0 other than the top, and I'm going to keep the top at 1 inch. And so I've got a place for that top of the ornament. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the next border, and I'm going to turn the lock size adjustments all back on. And this is going to be a little deceiving because I'm actually going to make it a 3/4 inch border, but when I piece it, I'm going to piece it, I'm going to use a 1 inch, but I'm going to put piping in, and I want to give the illusion of what that piping is going to look like, which is why I'm creating this at 3/4. So then I'm going to go ahead and add that piping border, and I am going to just move this down to the 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to add my larger border, and I'm going to move this up to 2 inches. And then I'll add my binding, and I'm going to use 3/8 of an inch for that. So now I'm ready to go to the Design tab, and the first thing I'm going to do is, under the block tools, I'm going to do a set block, and I'm going to take my ornament block and I am going to set that on layer 1. And then I'm going to take the top of the ornament and put that in border 1. And then everything else is basically coloring. Now I'm going to use the rotate fabric for the border. I already did it in here, and I could have done it in there also. So it's sort of just a question of what you want to do. Maybe I'll change that. And then I'm going to use the fussy cut to get everything to line up nicely. And once I've got that done, I can go ahead and add to the sketchbook. Now, to piece this, I decided that the only thing that I really wanted to use on the center ornament was the curved pieces. So let me go to Print and Export. I'm going to select my block, which gives me that center block, and I'm going to select Templates, and I'm going to include a seam allowance and do a preview. Now, I really don't need everything else, so I can go ahead and select them, which will highlight them in red, and select the delete key. And I always like to do my deletes before I do my moves. It makes things easier. And I'm going to see if I can get all of these fit on one page. Now, one of the new features is the ability to rotate. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I can move that in place. And I'm going to rotate that as well. There, I've got everything fitting on this one page, and so I am ready to print. Now, for the rest of the block, what I decided was I'm going to go ahead and just piece that with the original block. So let me go ahead and find that, do a quick edit, and maybe the one thing I'm going to do is get rid of those 4 corners, and I can I could recolor it, but then I'm just going to do a print rotary cutting. And for this one, I know my block is going to be 9, so I need to change that to 9 by 9. I could put a name on it, but I'm just going to go ahead and do a preview. And so I now have rotary cutting instructions. So I can do that and then just add my templates in the corner. Thanks so much for watching. For additional tips and techniques, please subscribe to my weekly newsletter at onpointquilter.com.